There we go. Welcome, everybody. Hey, the 94th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream. Hope you had a great week. Had a great week here. Mostly nice weather. Hope you had decent spring weather where you are. Our last live stream of the month of April right now. We're coming up not only on our 100th anniversary, our 100th episode, but our 2-year anniversary in a few weeks. I think the 2-year anniversary is going to come first. Good times. Hey, everybody. I'm here for your questions. Ask me a guitar question, especially regarding learning the guitar. Put a bunch of question marks in advance of your questions so I know it's aimed at me, Jonathan. In between your questions, I got stuff to talk about. We had a poll question up and running. The poll question is, what's your ideal practice time? You know how your mind works. You know how your day works. Bunch of answers up there. Maybe 15 minutes is your ideal practice time. You focus, you get something done, and then you let it sit. 30 minutes, 45 minutes. How about all day? How about an hour? You know, what works for you? Yeah, play all day would be great. I mean, I would love to play all day, but I don't know. How do you feel? That's a poll question of the week. What's the ideal practice time for you in your schedule, the way your mind works, the way you're pursuing the guitar, what works for you? Don't forget to vote in the poll. In between your questions, here are some things I want to share with you. I'm going to teach you a couple of lessons you'll never forget. We're going to talk about songwriter guitar, some ideas for you songwriters out there, or for those of you who would consider songwriting as part of your guitar journey, some things to think about. What I'm calling the Betts sliding scale, inspired by Dickie Betts. I can't wait to show you that. Of course, we have our play along song of the week. It's a good one. I'm excited about it. I've had a little experience now with my clip-on stand light, so I can give you a little feedback and recommend that to you. Who's in town? A bunch of interesting people are coming through the theater across the street, but one of them in particular, I want to call your attention to, the one and only Marty Stewart. What a life he's led, and he's still out there doing his thing. So we're going to talk about who's in town, but especially Marty Stewart. We have 2 student quotes of the week. I had 2 students say things that gave me pause, and I had to write them down. We have my own dumb question of the week. Should I sell out? Why not? We've got a few offers this week. Yeah, and those items ought to keep us cooking. I'm in the process of moving my music shop about a mile down the road. It's a stressful thing. I've been basically in the same spot for 19 years. So any of you who have ever packed up and moved, you know what it's like. Pretty much all of you have had to move either yourself or someone else, right? Help them move. But it needs to be done. You got to move. When it's time to move, you got to move. And Pooba John says, will it still be on a corner? Yes. Corner music will still be on a corner of a building, as opposed to a corner of an intersection, on the corner of a building. Why did I choose the name Corner Music for my music shop? Man, I've had my last name misspelled ever since I knew I had a last name. And so there's no way my last name was going to be involved in my music shop name. And I wasn't trying to be wildly creative. I want to keep it simple and straightforward. And so I did. My music shop has been located on a corner for 19 years. And I thought, Corner Music, let's just get it done. And no regrets. Although when people point out that, you know, I'm painting myself into a corner, so to speak, by calling myself Corner Music, I would like to raise the example of the Los Angeles Lakers. They weren't named after lakes from Los Angeles, right? You guys know the story. Sometimes a sports team picks up and moves to a completely different location, but they keep their name, and we all just kind of roll with it. Los Angeles Lakers are not named after. How about the Utah Jazz? Right, Utah Jazz. Utah is not known for jazz, to my knowledge. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Pooba John is pointing out that my new location is right next to a great pizza place. Oh man, I can't wait. So knock on wood, next Saturday, it's possible we'll be doing this live stream from the new location. I'm waiting on the new Wi-Fi to get installed. We'll see. If they can't install it in time, I might just do it from home. You know, get my pets involved. And ooh, my moderator wife, spouse can moderate from the other room. How cool would that be? That'd be kind of fun. So we'll see. I'm going to say a few hellos before we get started. Hello to Pooba John, Michael. Hey, Michael, I got your email. I haven't responded yet, obviously, but I got your email, and I appreciate you getting in touch. Michael, you got to take off, huh? Because your kids are playing in a contra dance. Oh, how fun. They're playing fiddle in a contra dance. Oh, man, have a ball. Take a lot of pictures and record some video. Hello to Bruce and Byron in Sydney, Australia. Christian from Denmark. Joseph from Oklahoma. Winston. Hey, Winston from Wales. Winston, you pointed something out. Oh, where'd it go? Winston, you were talking about Winston from Wales. Winston's soccer team, the Wrexham soccer team. Am I saying that right? Winston, Wrexham. They secured the promotion to the next tier for the next season. That's congratulations. I'm very happy for you. Scott Rhodes, Randy from Colorado. Scott's going to say regarding the ideal practice time, Scott's going to say 15 minutes. Because if I sit down for 15 minutes, I'll probably still be playing an hour later. Yeah. But if I look for a free hour, I won't find it. Good point. I've pitched that many times to my students. Sit down for 10 minutes. I'm just going to sit down for 10 minutes and just bang this out. And it's possible that it'll turn into a longer time. Hey, Chris is checking in from Central New Jersey. Barry from Ireland. Hey, Barry. Welcome. I always like to see new names and new locations. Rock Lobster. Hello. Checking in from Maine, the great state of Maine. Rock Lobster, my family is still planning out our Maine vacation this summer. My son got a very cool internship, and we're not sure if we're going to be able to steal him away for a week, or if the internship is going to require him to be working all summer. So we're trying to figure that out. Scott Rose has a new book called the Acoustic Rock Guitar Book. And the very first exercise. Oh yeah, okay. So check this out. You guys might know this already. Scott, that's a great cool exercise. One of the most common ways to add some color to a chord, specifically the D chord. And Scott's saying the first exercise in that book involves D, then D with no middle finger, D with a pinky down on the first string, 3rd fret, back to D again. Put it all together, it sounds like. For the record, that's D major, D suspended 2 when you lift off your middle finger, D suspended 4 when you put down your pinky on the first string, 3rd fret, and then back to D major again. Yeah, it's a classic. If that sounds kind of familiar, yeah, you've heard that. Everyone, you spend a few decades listening to popular music and you've heard that embellishment on a D chord. You got it. Suspended chords. Don't let the name suspended freak you out. It means that we've taken away the one note that makes a chord major or minor, for that matter. So the chord is neither major nor minor. Think of it as being suspended. You're waiting for something to happen. Is it going to end up being a major or minor? You don't know, So by removing that one note and replacing it with either the 2nd note of the scale or the 4th note of the scale, you have suspended the chord. Hence the name D suspended 2 or D suspended 4. Yeah, excellent. Barry says, you too used a lot of suspended chords back in the day. Yeah, Barry, for years. I don't remember the key or the chord. That song Bad by U2 from the Unforgettable Fire. I'm doing it with a D. I'm suspending it with my pinky on the 1st string, 3rd fret. For years, I used that song as my personal example of what it sounds like when a chord goes from suspended to major. The song called Bad from U2. I'm pretty sure it's not a D chord, but it's funny, you listen to music long enough, and then you pick up an instrument, and all the music you've heard your whole life, now you have names for those things, right? Now you have a reference point. You start picking up some of the music theory and or the labels. Yeah, kind of. So obviously, it's a huge advantage you have as adults. And Byron, you're going to be an adult someday. But decades and decades of music. And when someone shows you something, you make a connection neurologically, right? Your brain's like, oh, that thing. I see it all the time with my adult students. I'll teach them something. I see that little light bulb and they've got it. I see it less with my younger students, which is understandable. 6-string Greg is joining us. Greg, you didn't miss much. We're just rocking out. We're just getting started here. Hey, I made a note to remind you guys that I encourage you to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Head over to either of those platforms and do a search for the term SongBike, all one word, SONGBIKE. It's a way for me to communicate lots of stuff to you guys, including reminders about this show, some teasers about what this week's live stream is going to be about. As I get into making more YouTube videos, I've been off of that for a little while, but I'm going to get back into making more YouTube videos. You'll get little teasers and announcements about those videos. So please do follow me on Instagram or social media under the name SongBike. Hey, Static Zigzag is asking a great question. Can I cheat a B minor without playing a bar? Please say yes. Yes. I would have said yes anyways. Yeah, why bar B minor? You don't have to. My go-to, well, there's a few different ways I play B minor, but this bottom line is 3 skinny strings, 2nd fret on the 1st string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 4th fret on the 3rd string. Not only is that a B minor, but you can include the open 4th D string. And that's harmonious, So you got a 4-string B minor chord. If it sounds slightly weird, it's because the lowest note is the note D. What's more common is having the lowest note of any chord be the root note, the note that has the same name as the chord. Okay, take that ring finger that's on the 3rd string, 4th fret, replace it with the pinky, and put the ring finger on the 4th string, 4th fret. A 4-string B minor has a little more oomph to it. The fact that the lowest note is an F sharp rather than the open D string, musically that gives it a little more strength and power. You're still not doing a bar. Now, just so you know, my go-to B minor chord is neither one of those, nor is it that full bar. By the way, if you're doing this 4-finger B minor right now, you always have the option of extending your index finger. Don't change anything else. Your index finger goes across all 6, and then you have the biggest possible B minor. I do not do that. What I do instead, though, is based on this 4-finger, 4-string B minor chord. I take my index finger, I plant it on the 5th string, 2nd fret. That's the note B. So there's my root note. I completely ignore the 6th string. Actually, I let the flesh of my index finger lightly touch the 6th string so it's dampened out. That's what my 6th string sounds like. I also relax my index finger. See how it's curved? It's not a bar. It's curving over. But I relax my arm and wrist a little bit so the flesh of my index finger, that part right there close to my palm, is muting out the skinny 1st string. Life is good. I've effectively muted out the fat E and the skinny E. And I have a beautiful B minor chord that is not a bar chord. I know some of you might say, it looks like you're barring that index finger. No, no, no. See how it's curving like that? I'm arching it over the strings, but I am letting it lightly touch both the outside and inside E strings. And I love that B minor. My buddy Clay and I just played recently at an open mic night, and we did a couple of songs that required B minor. We did Runaway Train by Soul Asylum. And then we did a One Direction song called Night Changes. And both of those songs required me to play a B minor. Oh my gosh, our 3rd song, we played Dream dream, 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 dream. And that required a B minor as well. So I think every song required a B minor chord. There you go. And I guarantee you every single B minor, I play it that way. I recommend it. You have the freedom to not play a bar, right? You've no worries about playing the bar, but you have the structured sound of the root note being the lowest note. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Yeah, there you go. Now that might feel weird at first. But you get it. The notion that your index finger, in this case, can very lightly dampen out the sixth string, even though all the pressure's on the fifth string. Man, what a cool skill that is to develop. I think I did it unconsciously. To achieve that, you no longer use the extreme tip of your finger to squeeze on that fifth string second fret. You use a little down, how would you describe that? Down into the pad of the finger a little bit, so that the extreme tip can touch that fat sixth string. And the idea of dampening out the skinny first string with a little flesh of your index finger, don't consider that some hard new skill you now must master. It's the opposite. You get to relax your hand. Some of you are doing it anyways. It's achieved by relaxing and not working so hard. Yeah. Sixth string Greg asked a great question. Why not just become proficient with bar chords? It opens up the fretboard. Yep. But I figure both things are true. You want to be good at everything, right? One scenario is, you're going to be playing in church this Sunday. You're going to be playing with some friends, and you got to have some kind of B minor ready to go. So you may still be working on the bar chord, but time is of the essence. In my case, I'm just too stubborn. I don't want to play a bar chord if I don't have to. I'm just too stubborn. I can't explain it beyond that. But the only other thing I can add is I always get the feeling that when I play a bar chord, I'm choking the guitar, which I am, right? That's our whole point, right? And I don't know. Maybe because I play a lot of acoustic guitar, I like to have as many open strings ringing as possible. So for forever, my instinct has been to avoid bar chords. I'm not saying it's rational. I just, All I Have to Do Is Dream by the Everly Brothers does have an F sharp minor. I was thinking of you guys because as I'm playing F sharp minor, I can make you mine, taste your lips of wine anytime. There we go. Night or day, only trouble is she is. I'm singing the harmony part. I was thinking of you guys because I had to play F sharp minor. It's the chord in the song. I don't have a cute workaround. I mean, when it's time to play F sharp minor, anytime. There we go. Night or day, only trouble is, here it comes. Gee whiz, I'm dreaming. So I was thinking, if only they could see me now, Mr. YouTuber who says, I never play bar chords. And there I am, the whole song. Every time that bridge comes around, I'm hitting the big old F sharp minor. There's a time and place. And there's a time when it's okay to avoid it. Charlie Beagle says the changing in and out of bar chords is a pain. It is. It's almost would be better if the whole song was nothing but bar chords, because I don't know, then at least you're there, you're stuck, and you're doing it. But off the top of my head, I never play any songs in recent memory that are all bar chords. Static Zigzag says, I think I'll eventually play bar chords once I build strength. Yeah. But keep in mind, it's not just about strength. There's a whole flexibility thing, adults have plenty of strength. I mean, by the time you're a teenager, you got perfectly strong hands. Quick reminder with bar chords, the best advice I can give you is to overextend your index finger past the fat string. Okay, wait, don't just go as far as the sixth string, go way past the sixth string. Keep your thumb pointing up towards the ceiling. Okay, your thumb should not be parallel to the neck, but pointing up towards the ceiling. Your thumb is probably going to be hidden from view. See how you can't see my thumb? You don't want your thumb way up like this. Kind of hide it behind the neck. Roll the index finger back onto the skin on this side of your index finger, the side closest to your thumb. To achieve that, you're going to bring your left elbow, if you're fretting with your left hand, your left elbow is going to come in towards the guitar, and that index finger is going to naturally roll over onto the side of the index finger. Something about that angle. It's not that helps you grab the six strings better. It helps the other fingers arch over better. So there's my bar chord advice. Okay, I'm just scrolling here, scrolling. Oh, Scott is saying that the F sharp minor chord shows up in the songs you've been doing. Yeah. Well, here's why F sharp minor is likely to show up more likely than, I don't know, say G sharp minor. F sharp minor pairs well with all the chords in the key of D, like delta, and also with the chords in the key of A, like alpha. So if you're playing D, G, and A, song in the key of D, with D is the one chord, G and A, and a minor chord pops up, it's extremely likely it'll be an F sharp minor. It's not a guarantee. It could be a B minor, it could be an E minor, but think of all the songs that in D, G, and A, and F sharp minor pairs well with all those chords. And also in the key of A, where A is the one chord and D and E are the 4 and 5 chords, A, D, and E, F sharp minor also shows up quite a lot. So that's why you see F sharp minor plenty, because the chords it pairs well with are kind of easy chords by comparison. B, same. I could say the same thing about B minor as well. Barry says, do I ever use a capo to avoid bar chords? Yes. Yep. Not because I, or even my student, is not capable of doing bar chords. Well, sometimes it's because the student can't do bar chords yet. But sometimes it's it makes the song so much easier that it's a game changer. All of a sudden you can play your favorite song with the understanding that, you don't want to give up on bar chords. You got to work on them. But Barry, because my singing voice is what it is, I often change the key of a song. So sometimes I avoid playing bar chords just because the song might have a F sharp minor or something, and I don't end up doing it in that key anyways. And sometimes that involves a capo too. Six String Greg says, Jonathan, do you not use the caged system? Yes and no. I never studied it. Like I've kind of said before, I got the concept of the caged system before I knew there's a thing called the cage system. So I definitely never employed the cage system in my own development or as a teacher. I got a caged book, actually one of our earlier live streams, I don't know, a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, just to make sure I knew what I was talking about. So I don't have any strong feelings for or against the cage system. I mean, it works for a lot of people. I think it's great. Whatever helps you understand the fretboard, it's great. I'm more likely to tell people, hey, take a D chord and move it up the neck, and let's talk about what the name is going to be at every stop, and so that there's, in my mind, that's the cage system. That literally is the letter D of the word caged, C-A-G-E-D, right? Moving a D chord up and down the neck. And I leave it at that. And then we find popular songs that use that or context or something, as opposed to, I don't know, I suppose like making a bar and sliding it up as a bar chord with a D formation. Like I would never, well, first of all, I personally have never come across a song that asked me to do that. And I don't have any students who would benefit from learning that. So to the extent that the cage system relates to like a bar moving up to, the index bar and the other fingers are doing whatever they have to do, I don't teach that way. But I'm a big believer in we all should do what helps the guitar make sense to us. And believe me, after teaching all these years, I see every day how people's minds differ, and what works for one student doesn't work for another student. And hey, that's life, man. The sooner we all accept that about each other, the sooner we can get along. Our brains are different, man. So did I answer your question? So technically, I do not use the cage system, not in the sense that I photocopy stuff out of a caged book and give it to a student as homework. But we'll talk about moving chords up the neck, including the C, the A, the G, the E, and the D. Yeah, and we've talked about that a little bit in our live stream, like when it's pertinent. DAC Poet, thanks for being here. Okay, hey, let's get into something. Let's do something. You guys ready for a lesson you never forget? I bet you are. Let's do this Betz sliding scale. There we go, right there. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, Fred Sokolow. I love Fred Sokolow. He's great. And I wouldn't be the teacher I am if I didn't read and study and practice out of a whole bunch of Fred Sokolow books. Ooh, check this out. I'm going to share something. And is this going to be one of those moments when you guys say, oh, the screen is black, I don't see anything? I'm curious. Who is that big? If anybody who's nearsighted, you're welcome. Can you guys see that on the screen there, right? I'm sharing a little tiny clip, a little tiny scrap from a Fred Sokolow book. Oh, I can even show you the book. Can everyone see that okay on the screen there? Let me know. All right, thank you, Randy. What I'm sharing is not mine. It comes from this great book you all should buy. It's called Classic Rock Instrumentals by Fred Sokolow, Sokolow. He's one of the best guitar book writers ever. I easily have a dozen Fred Sokolow books from the Hal Leonard Publishing Company. I hope it's still in print. I don't know, but find yourself a copy. So much cool stuff. Okay, so why am I showing you this huge thing on the screen? Is this actually too big? Is anybody like, whoa, like you had to scoot your office chair back a little bit? I don't know if I can actually make it smaller. I'm sharing it as a JPEG. Let me see if I can make it smaller. Oh yeah, let's see. A little bit, how's that? A little bit smaller? Is that too small? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna play the thing for a second. Okay, the Betz sliding scale, that's my nickname for it. Fred is calling it a sliding scale. It's a D major pentatonic. And this is from the transcription of the famous song called Jessica, the famous guitar instrumental called Jessica. And as you can see, Fred is teaching us most of Dickie Betts' solo later in the tune is in the key of D, and it's based on that sliding scale. And that is such a handy scale to know about in general. Not only because the key of D is a very popular key, but once you learn it, you can move it to different starting points, in this case, specifically on the A string, specifically on the fifth string, and play it in other keys. Okay, let me give you some advice. Only use your index and ring fingers, your first and third fingers, no middle, no pinky. Index on that 5 on the A string. Ring finger on the 7, sliding up to the 9. You're going to do a lot of ring sliding. In fact, you could say that's the point of the Betz sliding scale. Next string, just 7, 9. Index on 7, ring on 9. Next string, index on 7, ring on 9, slide up to 11. Anybody notice how when we started, we slid? The next string we did not slide. The next string we did slide. It's not a coincidence. You slide, then you don't slide. You slide like on a string by string basis. Slide, don't slide. Slide, don't slide. and we slide on that last string. So we're sliding on the 5th, 3rd, and 1st strings, every other. That helped me when I was learning this. That helped me keep track of this whole shebang. So every note, there's actually only 5 notes if we talk about the names of those notes. Every note you played was either a D, an E, an F sharp, an A, or a B. D, E, sliding into the F sharp, A, B, and then it starts over again. D, E, sliding into the F sharp, A, B. What's up with the odd numbers that suddenly turn into even numbers? What's up with that? Why did it have to change like that? And believe me, I still am going to ask you to use your index finger and ring finger only. When it all of a sudden that 10 shows up, play that 10 with your index finger. You have to make a little adjustment, right? Literally, you're changing from odd numbers to even numbers, and you got to make that adjustment. Let's call it the GB adjustment, because as you guys probably are well aware, the G and B strings have a tendency to mess up any pattern that suddenly involves those strings. Because remember, the G and B strings are known as a third apart. The interval from a G to a B is known as a third. Every other pair of strings are 1/4 apart. So any pattern that suddenly involves the G and the B strings has to be adjusted. In this case, literally, we're going from odd numbers to even numbers. You do want to play it backwards as well, just literally backwards. 14 with the ring finger, sliding it down to 12. Just reverse the slide. And then 10, 12, 10. Now watch out. This is that little adjustment. I got to get my guitar in the shot here. I start on 14, slid back to 12, and I played 10 regular. Just regular pluck. Second string, 12, 10. I'm doing this reverse, right? I'm doing it backwards. Now watch out. Your ring finger, got to be a ring finger. 11 on the 3rd string, sliding down to 9. I'm making a big deal about it. It's just that you're changing literally from odd numbers to even numbers, and there's that little moment where you have to make that adjustment. You know you did it right if it sounds like you just arrived. Okay, so this may be something that some of you already know. And you're like, got it. I've played this, for a decade now. Some of you might be overwhelmed by there's a lot of numbers, man, and sliding, and and some of you are right in the middle somewhere. I know when the chat goes quiet, I love it. I love it because I know you guys are doing it a little bit. Winston is saying sliding on the skinny string hurts. Yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of that, especially on acoustic guitar, right? And your ring finger might be a little tender anyways. Okay, so for the record, every slide is going to be your ring finger, your 3rd finger sliding, whether it's no matter what direction you're going in, ascending or descending, it's always going to be your ring fingers doing the slide. In general, your ring finger is it's like on a scouting mission when you're playing lead guitar, scales, and riffs. It's so common for your ring finger to be the thing that's leading you up the neck. So it's going to feel wobbly. The less experience you have, the wobblier your ring finger is going to feel, and it's not going to feel like it can even do these slides because it takes a certain amount of pressure and confidence to slide up, right, with a ring finger, with any finger. That's good. If your ring finger feels wobbly and this is not going well, we have found the perfect practice exercise for you. Even if you are more of a chord strumming person and you don't envision yourself playing lead guitar solos, we still have to strengthen that ring finger and give it more confidence. And why not do it this way? Okay, you guys get it. So for our purposes, I'm going to call this the Betts sliding scale with a thank you to Fred Socolow. those of you who know the song, Jessica, it's a major key, great country instrumental. Not a shocker that it would have a major pentatonic scale at the heart of the guitar solo, which comes in later in the tune. There's major pentatonics and there's minor pentatonics, and the line can get kind of blurry in between. I'm sure we've talked about this a little bit before, how every major pentatonic has an alter ego as a minor pentatonic. Everything that you're looking in front, everything you see in front of you right there, those are also the notes of a B minor pentatonic. B as in baseball. So some of you are like, wait, what? That's too much. I don't need to know that. Yeah, I get it. But the fact remains, any major pentatonic also has the same 5 notes as a minor pentatonic. So in this case, D major is what Dickie Betts is using to solo in a song in the key of D major. But you could also use this exact same thing to solo along with a song in the key of B minor. So Randy says, that was great. The slide, not slide tip really helps. Yeah, right. I was frustrated by trying to keep track of this, and I realized, wait a minute, there's a pattern. Slide on the 5th string, but you don't on the 4th. You slide on the 3rd string, but not on the 2nd. And you slide on the 1st. Some of you may be disappointed that it doesn't go past the 14th fret. What can I say? There you go. One of the many things I like about any good guitar instructor, transcriber, like Fred Sokolow here, is they just give you a little more than they had to. Instead of just showing you, here's the solo, he's preparing you to play the solo. It's a teachable moment. It's like, hey, check out this scale. You're going to need it for this song, and you'll find ways to use it in the future. So yeah, okay, there you go. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there. I do have a tendency. I try to pause before I click. There's a button to click on that literally says end stream, and my little cursor gets dangerously close to that button. I mean, I think that should be hidden. That should be far away, tucked away in the corner. It's way too big and obvious, as if you're going to need to click on it in a hurry. If I ran the circus, I would move that someplace else. All right, so there you go. Let's get into I'll give you the student quote of the week. We had 2 good student quotes of the week. A fella came for his first guitar lesson. We've been doing some ukulele lessons, and he came for his first guitar lesson. And I set him up with the tab for a nice, easy version of Ode to Joy, good old Beethoven. Okay, and right there, right in the lesson, he starts playing. It sounds like Ode to Joy. It wasn't perfect, but it was his first guitar lesson. He was going a little bit fast, and when you go too fast, you mess up. But I mean, he was getting it done. It wasn't perfect. I said, "Hey, man, look at you, your first guitar lesson, and you're already playing Beethoven." And he just looked down. And he said, "Good thing Beethoven was deaf." It's like, boom, psh. I like that. Okay, second student quote of the week was not musical, but it cracked me up because there's some truth to this quote. The student said, "I know everything's going to be okay, but I'm just not sure what that is or what that's going to be." What does okay mean? I don't know. It's going to be okay, but I don't know. And I thought, yeah, man, because it's all going to be okay, right? It's all going to be okay. But what is okay going to look like? I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. I don't know. Ever since I started the student quote of the week, I listen even more closely to things. And sometimes students say something, I can't write it down fast enough. I think I'll remember it. And then the lesson's over and I think, oh, what was that thing they said? And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay. My own dumb question of the week. It's a dumb one. Oh, it kind of ties in a little bit with bar chords. You know, the challenge of playing bar chords. Here's my dumb question of the week: can you have fun on the guitar and make good music on the guitar without chords at all? It's a dumb question, but can you? Is it all about chords? Is nothing ever any fun at all? Should you just not play the guitar if you can't play every chord there is? Is there anything you can do with value that you could even do in a band with other human beings that's not F and G7 and bar chords? Can you have fun on the guitar without chords? Maybe chords are a big challenge for you, and you're judging your entire guitar experience on B7 or B minor, or, you know. So Wingo says, yeah, just play melodies. Sure. You can play melodies. You can play all the cool shuffle things. There's so many nice little variations, so many blues riffs. Right? There's so many. There's so many things that have nothing to do with chords whatsoever. I mean, not in a physical sense, right? I mean, real songs, like you want to play a certain song, well, that's how the song goes, you know. Nothing to do with how good you are at a bar chord or F or whatever. Working on improvising. I mean, that Betts sliding scale we just did. You know, you want to be a lead guitar player in a band, man, practice your scales and your riffs all day long, you know, as much as you can. You're going to get so good at all that stuff. I've had students that way. I remember, like yesterday, I had a student who was just a natural improviser, just came like clear that was his strength. I mean, I would show him a blues scale, and then I'd say, okay, let's play. And I'd give him a little background, and he would just start playing. And it was so clear that was his strength. And this went on for lessons and lessons, learning certain riffs, certain cool bluesy instrumentals, until the day when I said something about a G chord. And he said, yeah, how do you do G again? And that's when I realized that he wasn't getting a balanced diet. I was playing to his strengths, and we're having a great time. But I thought, it was time for me to take a step back and make sure he knew some basic stuff, you know, like chords, some basic chords. But getting back to the dumb question, my dumb question of the week, I ask it so you don't have to. There's so much music waiting to be played that does not directly relate to how, quote, good you are at chords. So just to recap, you have plenty of bluesy rhythm guitar, like the examples I gave. You can find that in more than one of my guitar ebooks. I call it the Muddy Waters Blues Riff from Manish Boy, the Guitar Year One, available at my website, song-bike.com. But if you ever want to spend a half an hour with me, the YouTube video that I did in 2013 called the Classic Blues Riff, 30 minutes of... Why did it take me 30 minutes to do that, to teach that? I thought you'd never ask. My first dozen YouTube videos were filmed not for YouTube. They're filmed for local public access TV as a 30-minute TV show. So Music Fan 1004. And I filmed these at a local cable studio. And it was important to fill up 30 minutes. So it wasn't 30 minutes of doing just that, but I expanded on it a little bit, but, you know, just because no one was going to watch it, right? Because it's for public access TV. No one watches that, right? When I uploaded it to YouTube, it got a very good response, but it got a fair amount of criticism to be like, dude, you spent 30 minutes to show like a 1 minute thing. I get it. Go figure. But that video has done very well for me. Anyways, So yeah, so I'm on a mission, and here's why. And then I'll get to it. Easty Beastie, I see your question. I realized as a teacher, I had a weak spot, and the weak spot was introducing the 16 common chords really early in a student's lessons. I mean, it could be like first or second lesson. We're talking about C and G and maybe even F if they were curious or whatever. And I realized, whoa, I was getting people kind of burned out because I was very enthusiastic about showing them chords and stuff. I figured, oh, the sooner the better, man. I mean, F is hard, so we better work on it on the second lesson. And I realized, wait a minute, man, wait a minute. Like there's so much valuable, fun stuff that is not chord related. Let's do a bunch of that stuff and get people's fingers in shape and have some fun and have some success. And then introduce some chords and, you know, pace ourselves a little bit. Okay, so that's my dumb question of the week, asked and answered. Of course, you can have tons of fun without playing chords, and stick around on these live streams. That's one of the things I am enthusiastic about doing. Easty Beastie says, how do you figure out the strumming pattern for a song? Thanks, love your videos. Thank you, Easty Beastie. Hey, sometimes I see a name in the chat that I have not seen before. And so welcome anybody who's watching this for the first time, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it during the week. Thanks for being here. Easty Beastie, strumming patterns, yeah. And rarely are those communicated. On Ultimate Guitar, they rarely communicate it. And even some, you know, pretty successful YouTubers, they demonstrate how to do it kind of quickly, but they don't talk about it. So the way I figured out is, in me personally, I go into my mental library of the strum patterns I already know, and I try to make a connection. You know, what is that person doing? You know, what's the closest thing I already know to what that person is doing? And sometimes it's really obvious, and I'll give you some examples. And other times, sometimes you can't even really hear a distinct strum pattern, so then you have to go on your instinct. So an example of a really obvious one, right? I mean, you know, a lot of us, maybe no one even taught you how to do that. You just find yourself kind of strumming like that, and it felt good and it sounded good. The classic kind of folky strum, you know, down, down, up, down. Well, sometimes the guitar, the strum pattern is so loud and clear that it's easy to make a connection. And since that one is such a common one, probably a lot of us have both heard it and played it before. You make that connection, you recognize that life is good. But other times, as you guys know, the exact strumming is not distinct. It's hard to hear. There's a lot of other instruments going on. Maybe the strumming is not even consistent. It's not one pattern over and over and over and over again. Maybe there's a lot going on. And then you're kind of stuck, right? That makes it even more important that that you've learned as many common strum patterns as possible, so you can pick one that fits the song. Easty Beastie, I'm going to give you some more examples in a minute. I'm also going to direct you, because I wrote the book, man. I wrote the book, The Strum Pattern Bible. I had so much fun doing this book. Humor me for a second. I'm going to read you from the introduction. Introduction. This book is the culmination of over 4 decades of drumming. You read that right. I studied drums and percussion for years as a kid before picking up the guitar, and that makes me uniquely qualified to talk about strum patterns. All drummers think about is rhythmic patterns. Trust me, we're not stressed over bar chords or pentatonic scales. It's true. I'm a better drummer than Marty Schwartz, man. Hope I am. Yeah, I took drum lessons as a kid. Dozens and dozens of drum lessons. So yeah, so I'm very comfortable talking about rhythm. And I'm very comfortable finding different ways to describe the rhythm. So, for example, Knock on Heaven's Door, a very common strum pattern that you might as well learn it for Knock on Heaven's Door, so you can use it for other things. And so then it becomes something that's in your mind, and you can say, oh, that person is just doing the Knock on Heaven's Door pattern. So, for example, I would describe this pattern. pizza, pepperoni, pizza, pepperoni. Hear that in there? Pizza, pepperoni, down, 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 up, down, up. Okay. An extremely common pattern. Is that literally what Bob Dylan does mechanically for the entire tune? No, that gets you and me into the song, right? Now we're in there and we can keep doing it over and over again until you develop an ear and an expressiveness to do other stuff. But don't you want to be in the song, right? Let's get in the song and then see how it goes. Meanwhile, most of us, it's the left-hand chord changes that need the work, right? But maybe not. Maybe you're good to go. Charlie Beagle says, but Marty wears cool hats. Uh-huh. Yep. So in terms of figuring out the strum pattern, just to recap, it helps to know a bunch already. It helps if it's loud and clear. If it's not loud and clear, then that's when you have to go with your gut a little bit. That Strum Pattern Bible, available as an ebook, available for immediate download from song-bike.com, is full of what I 100% believe are the absolute most common strum patterns. Oh, including bare finger picking patterns too. About 2/3 of the book is strum patterns with a cute little pick, and about 1/3 of the book is very common finger picking patterns. I literally went through some big, thick songbooks and just took out I forget how many, dozens and dozens of the patterns I was seeing over and over again. I mean, I already had a sense for what I was going to do, but the thing about the Strum Pattern Bible is every strum pattern I teach, it's from a specific famous song. It's not just me being like, hey, you guys, I think you'll like this. It's like, no, here's how Paul Simon used it, right? Here's how the Indigo Girls, whoever, here's how they, it's from a real song. You can hear it. Barry James says, there are bands like Iron and Wine that use a very similar strumming pattern for all their songs. Yeah. And let's not say that's good or bad, but it's just a fact. Those of you who want to write songs, who are writing songs, it's something to consider. Nobody wants all the songs to sound the same, right? I guarantee your songs will all sound a little bit different if each one has a different strum pattern, right? I mean, that's a huge thing. It doesn't have to be a fancy strum pattern. Oh, so just to add a little more to the pile of strum patterns, the first one I showed, I think in the strum pattern by, what do I call it? The calypso strum, the down, down, up, down. Because even though calypso music, oh no, I call it the folk strum. The folk strum, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Okay, let's call that number one. Number two, the pizza pepperoni. Down, 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 up, down, down. Extremely common. How about the boom chick? I can't talk about strum patterns. I'm going to illustrate this on how about easy E minor. I hit the 6th string by itself and then answered back with 3 or 4 skinny strings. Boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick. Out of context, it's a little bit boring, right? So many songs, whatever the strum pattern is, it directly relates to that. It's either that pattern or something, boom, chicka. Right? Down, down, up, boom, chicka, boom, chicka. So between those patterns right there, those 3 patterns, that's a huge percentage of songs. And again, think of those patterns as a skeleton key that gets you into the song. And you can always refine your strumming, but you're already in the song, and life is good. At least that's the goal. And when I talk about refining your strumming, a little bit, it involves your physical skills getting better, but it also involves your ear. And I'll give you a quick example using the Bob Dylan Knocking on Heaven's Door. It's easy for me to describe that strum pattern as down, 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 up, pizza, pepperoni, because that totally works. Nothing wrong with that. Now listen to what I'm about to do to refine that. You notice that? Like accents, right? These little sounds a little jerky. I basically was sticking with a pizza pepperoni, but by making certain upstrokes louder, it gave it some more personality. It doesn't sound quite so mechanical. I'm not just copying and pasting. Nothing wrong with that, though. That gets you into the tune. Yeah, Music Fan is recognizing that as extremely similar to. Back in the Chain Gang, Music Fan for the win. Bing, 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 bing. I love that song. I love the Pretenders. So yeah, what I just did up the neck is basically D, A, G, but just up the neck, you know. I have a video on Back in the Chain Gang here on my YouTube channel. So that was kind of a long answer to your question. You asked a perfectly good question, Easty BC. How do you figure out the strum pattern? So I hope those are some suggestions. Without sounding crass, just buy my book, man. It comes with a video. I think the video might just be on YouTube. I think you can watch the video for free. I'm pretty sure. The video doesn't. I don't think the video has any talking. I think just me playing it, but there's no tab or anything. But for sure, yeah, watch it. Yeah, watch it, Dan. Is it free specifically on YouTube? I think so. It's so pretentious. Yeah, like somebody tell me where my material is available. I'm so sorry. It's actually a bad sign that I don't remember. I'm kind of embarrassed. I know it's free. I think it's on my YouTube channel. Okay. Anyways, thank you for the great question. Hey, you guys, how about if we do our play along song of the month? We do this usually about 1 hour into the show. Last week we had some fun because we did 3 songs. Okay, you ready for this? Our play along song of the week. Hope you're sitting down. Let's see. Is this going to be one of those times when the screen goes black? If the screen goes black for a minute, don't worry. Never worry about a thing. There we go. I think you guys will be able to see that okay. Our play along song of the week. I hope you all can see that. Okay, what a fun tune. This tune is of its time. I'm going to check my tuning here. Okay, so while I'm checking my tuning, let's talk about what you need for this song. You need a combination of chords and power chords. No big deal. The song is both loud and soft. Why am I not saying the name of the song or the name of the performer? I have this illusion that the bots don't discover me and they don't demonetize this live stream video. It's actually, I don't get demonetized literally. I just get a email that I will be sharing any money from this video with whoever owns the song, you know. And sometimes it's hilarious. Sometimes this any given song is owned by like 8 different entities, and I get all 8 are listed, and I think, oh man, it's a whole different world. And none of the entities listed have the same name as whoever wrote the song. You know, many of them are outside, like they're all over the world. It's a global thing. I don't know, man. Anyways, let's get down to it. Okay, so before I go any further, I found, just to check what I thought was correct about the song, I watched a guy's video. I liked his video a lot. And so I shared in the description of this live stream, I'll put a link to his video. He did a pretty long video that goes into some pretty decent detail about nuances in this song. So if you love this tune and you want to go a little bit deeper than what I'm sharing with you right here, it'll be in the description of this video. It was a YouTuber who has like 139,000 subscribers. I personally hadn't heard of him before, but he must be doing something right. So Mike, his last name started with a P. Anyways, it's good. Okay, so here's what we need for this song. The intro is actually a cool up the neck thing. Teaching the exact intro is beyond the scope of this video, but suffice to say that the basic idea of the intro: D for 2 counts, C for 2, G for 4, D for 2, C for 2, G for D. And that's the intro. Every slash mark that you see there just means basic down strum. In general, I'm going to keep the strumming pretty simple for this, but we can get fancier, and I probably will get fancier myself. But those slashes to me are such a clear way of describing how long you're spending on the chord. Okay, the verse kicks in, and as the verse kicks in, there we go. 4 beats on a D, 4 beats on the G, and that's going to be the entire verse. Baby, when I think about you, I think about love. Oh. D and G over and over again. Gotta love that. Remember, when I choose songs for our live stream here, what am I looking for? Famous songs, songs where the chords and stuff are pretty direct and repetitive and obvious, right? So that D to G verse sequence happens 8 times. You got to keep track of those 8 times. If you know the tune, you can almost feel when it's time to go to the chorus. Okay, so the chorus. Some distortion kicks in. The song gets heavier. Feel like making. Okay, so the guitar player essentially changes the power chords. A C power chord, 3 on the 5th string, 5 on the 4th string. Sliding up 2 frets, so it's now a D power chord, and then you actually hit it again. Once on the C with a slide, and once, or the second pick is on the D chord that you've arrived at. Okay, those little things that look like percentage signs, that means repeat the previous box, the previous thing you just did. So that sliding C power chord into the D power chord, that happens 3 times. And then just a C power chord and a G power chord. Feel like making dun 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 dun. Feel like making dun 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 dun. Feel like making dun dun. Okay, that whole sequence happens 3 times. The 4th time, it starts off the same. Like making love to you. Okay, so that's that line. You can see I put the lyrics, making love to you. 5, 7. I put that's the D power chord. I put a circle around it because it also sounds great just to play an old-fashioned D chord right there. Making love to you. Because more often than not, that sound rings, and then the good old drummer does what drummers do. Boom, 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 boom. They give us a little lead in so we know to start the next verse, right? So I put a circle around that D power chord so you know, hey, you could just hit a D major chord. The only time I would not recommend hitting a D major chord at that moment, the last chorus, it keeps looping around, making love to you, and it goes right back. It keeps repeating the chorus. So you don't want to be caught on a D chord when you're going to be asked to slide into the D power chord, you know? Beginning guitar lessons, the bass drop, and it goes like, doo. There's a cool interlude. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, there's a couple of effects going on in there. Okay, so we're going to start the song in a minute. Remember, my hope for you is not that you play this perfectly, although good for you. My hope for you is like, dang it, with a little practice, I could play it perfectly. That's my hope for you, you know? So the way the song goes, we have the intro, we have the verse, we have the chorus. Then it comes another verse and a chorus. Then comes the interlude. The interlude is just, when you zoom out, the interlude is simply D 4 beats, G 4 beats, and that happens 4 times. There's some very cool guitar playing throughout this tune that is not reflected in this document, right? We're doing the bird's eye view. We're zooming out so we can all bang this out and have some fun. After the interlude, guess what? On to the final verse. But that's great because we're playing D's and G's for the interlude, and we just do D's and G's into the verse. It just works out great. And then the chorus ends a tune. It repeats over and over. For those of you who want to do some soloing, especially like if you're playing along with the actual recording, and you want to do some great soloing at the end of the tune, like in the actual recording, that's a D minor pentatonic there at the bottom, and that will get you started. Okay. I think I'm ready as I'm going to be. I'm going to wet my whistle. Hold on. I think I'm good, folks. I'm going to do my best to keep this a little bit slow, a little bit. I get excited. I get into it. Well, just like you guys, I begin relying on my memory of how the song goes, right? You know. Okay, let's do it. See you on the other side. Intro, 2, 3, 4. Baby, when I think about you, think about love. Darling, I don't live without you and your love. If I had those golden dreams of my yesterday, I would wrap you in their heaven. They lay dying on the way. I feel like making love. I feel like making love. I feel like making love. Feel like making love to you. 1, 2, 3. Baby, if I think about you, I think about love. Darling, if I live without you, I live without love. And if I had the sun and moon, they were shining, I would give you both night and day, love satisfying. I feel like making love. I feel like making love. I feel like making love. Feel like making love to you. 2, 3, interlude. And if I had those golden dreams of my yesterday, I would wrap you in the heaven they lay dying on the way. I feel like making love. I feel like making love. I feel like making love. Feel like making love to you. I thought about kicking on the distortion. I probably should have done it. It was logistically tricky. Now I'm hoping, of all my hopes, my number one hope is that someone was singing the dying, right? I wrap you in the heaven they lay dying on the way. I hope someone was doing that, right? Fun, awesome. Okay, thoughts, comments, questions? You can see why this song made the cut, man. Beginning guitar lessons, your wife left the room. Well, you know, it is what it is, man. I think this song is unapologetic. It's a pretty tune. It's a pretty tune. It's of its time, you know, as it should be. So yeah, you can see why it made the cut, right? DCG. Now, I'll say this one more time. I found a good YouTube video that goes into more detail that I did not present to you at the moment. And in that, a link to that video will be in the description here. And hey, man, if someone else makes a good video, I want you guys to see it. That's why we're here, you know. But this will certainly get you started. And if you want to do a deeper dive, go for it. Oh, beginning guitar lessons is saying that your background vocals your wife didn't appreciate. Yeah, but your heart was in it, right? Your heart was in it. That's what matters. This is one of those tunes where, you know, as I was making sure I knew the words and listening to the original version and stuff, you know, I didn't realize like how much I remembered of the tune, you know, like when I was listening to it, I heard I could do I knew the background vocals were going to happen because like that's just how this song goes. I don't know, you know, I don't know how I know it. You hear it enough and it happens. All right, you guys, have fun. I'm going to stop sharing that. Oh, what you're looking at will be available soon on my website. I'm going to upload it to the PDF section of my website for members of my website. You can become a member of my website for $10. That gets you access to lots and lots of stuff. song-bike.com. Yep. Okay. Let's take a breath. You having a fun time? You doing okay? What do we got? We got a rainy day here today, but a nice day tomorrow. So my big plan, I don't know about you guys, my big plan for tomorrow, painting what's going to be my new music shop location. And I got the ceiling painted. I have the biggest walls painted. But tomorrow I got to paint more. And then moving and packing, man, moving and packing. Decision making. If it were just moving and packing, like, you know, when you help someone else move and you're just taking their boxes and doing stuff, that's great. It's when you have to make decisions, you know, like what do I keep? What do I throw away? What do I kind of store in the garage? You know, that's when it gets tricky for me. And yet it's all going to work out. It's all going to be okay. I don't know how it's going to be okay. I don't know what okay is going to look like, but it's going to be okay. Why am I moving? The building I'm in right now is it needs some love, and the building I'm going to has been very well cared for. It is dry and secure. Not too much to ask, right? For your property to be dry and secure. So, but I've been here on Main Street for so many years, it's going to be weird, but I'm basically moving to another Main Street. So it's all good. Did I mention the pizza? Of course I did. Okay. So I'm checking out a few things. Ooh, who's in town? I'll tell you who's in town. Marty Stewart is in town. I'm going to tell you who else is in town, but I want to circle back to Marty Stewart. The reason I am telling you who's coming through my town is because they might be on tour through your town and you might get a kick out of them. Roger McGuinn from the Byrds is coming through town this week. John Pizzarelli will be playing. John Pizzarelli, great jazz guitar player, son of Bucky Pizzarelli. Oh, man. He's coming through town, I think, next Saturday. The Adam Ezra Group. You guys familiar with the Adam Ezra Group? Coming through. John Oates is there right now. John Oates of Hall & Oates. I believe he was there last night and tonight. John Oates of Hall & Oates. A blues guitar player named Danielle Nicole is coming through town. So, you know, hey, man, once the weather gets warmer, bands get out on tour, right? It happens. So I will put those names and some links to videos of those people in the description of this live stream. But let's talk about Marty Stewart. What an interesting guy. Hey, Randy, thank you for your super chat. And Jamie, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that, you guys. Going to the Sharpie Fund. When you guys make a super chat donation, we call that Song Bucks, because here we are on SongBike, the SongBike YouTube channel. So your contributions, we call them Song Bucks. And I think Rock Lobster gets the credit. Rock Lobster, I always want to give you credit for that because I believe you were the guy who coined that phrase, Songbucks. Watcher Dan is confirming that concerts are back. Yeah, people are on tour, you know. Okay. Hey, before we dig into Marty Stewart, now is a good time for me to remind you that it's possible that someone might ask a great question and I miss it. So don't forget to put a handful of question marks in advance, and that's how I know you're aiming a question at me. Okay, so Marty Stewart. Now his show is sold out. It's tomorrow night across the street from me. But what an interesting life he has led so far. Born in 1958, down in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Holy cow! Who has he not crossed paths with in American music? Whether it's by his talent, his marriages, his guest appearances with people. Marty Stewart is a multi-instrumentalist. I think guitar and mandolin are what he's known for. 5 Grammy Awards, 20 albums. Oh, man. In the description of this live stream, I'm going to put a link to his website, but also to the Wikipedia page about him. Playing with Lester Flatt, famous from Flatt and Scruggs. He joined Lester Flatt's band as a teenager. I'm scrolling through his Wikipedia page at the moment. His godfather is Pop Staples of the Staples Singers. How does that happen? He married Johnny Cash's daughter. They later divorced. Anybody know who he married next? Okay. When he was 12 years old, a 29-year-old singer came through his town, and he announced to the 29-year-old singer, "I'm going to marry you someday." Now, that's a 17-year age difference. Guess who he married later on? Connie Smith, 17 years his senior. He told her he was going to marry her, and eventually he did. You don't see that every day, my friends. Not every day. So yeah, married to country singer Connie Smith. But man, he's crossed paths with everyone. Who gave him a guitar because he was so appreciative of his efforts? Carl Perkins, Mr. Blue Suede Shoes. I'm just reading through this. Marty Stewart played on an album called The Class of 55 that it featured Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Roy Orbison, and Jerry Lee Lewis. And as a thank you, Carl Perkins just gave him his guitar. I mean, did I mention his memorabilia collection? Marty Stewart's collection of memorabilia is vast enough. This is specifically, country music memorabilia. that it has been exhibited in multiple museums, including the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there in Cleveland. It's been displayed in the Grammy Museum, the Woody Guthrie Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Holy cow. So what an interesting guy. So he needs actually no introduction from me because he's been around long enough and done everything. But the fact that he's playing across the street, oh my God, he's out there, man. He's out there playing. What a cool thing. Marty Stewart. So I'll put some Marty Stewart links in the description of this live stream. But man, yeah. Rock Lobster, thank you for your super chat as well. Oh, and Joseph is saying that Buck Owens gave Marty Stewart Don Rich's Telecaster, and he already has Clarence White's guitar. What does he do with all these guitars, man? But it's I can only imagine what that must feel like for someone to say, hey, this person would want you to have his guitar, interesting. Okay, so I felt the need to make sure we're all on the same page about Marty Stewart. What an interesting guy. Check. Should I sell out? Well, you guys might remember that I'm waiting to hear back from Sennheiser Audio. I thought we had something going, me and Sennheiser. I haven't heard back. They reached out to me and said, would I like to be involved in a sponsorship and them, helping me with what I do, and I help them with what they do. And I said, sure. And then long story short, I haven't heard back. I don't take it personally. Okay, but what I have been offered recently, stylish women bags, specifically a travel duffel bag and laptop backpacks. But the subject line is stylish women bags. So I've been offered that to sell to you. Here's something that sounds kind of interesting. Would you buy a product, any product, called a Verve Viper? A Verve Viper. Well, Verve Viper reached out to me to see if I would like to help them sell high-quality phone mounts for your motorcycle. So that's what you want, motorcyclists to be doing, right? To have their phone mounted right there while they're riding the motorcycle. What could possibly go wrong with that? Verve Viper. Well, here I am. I'm promoting them. Okay, this might be the last one. The other thing that I've been offered recently to offer to you, an over-the-sink dish drying rack. No, hold on. There's more. It's a 2-tier stainless steel large dish drainer with a utensil holder. Now, are you interested? And the last one, there's a good week for this. This one actually is sort of relevant. It is, well, it's an SD21R made by Melanair, and it features state-of-the-art frequency ranges. It doesn't say what it actually is. But they also make a wireless monitor system. I don't know, man. So that's what I've been offered. Really, I just want to hear back from Sennheiser. Because, I don't know, I thought we could have some fun. Oh, well. A to Z Me says warm towels are cool. A towel warmer. I love that. That's what I need here during the live stream, a towel warmer. Why not? Okay, check. I'm checking off some stuff here. Hey, what else could we do today? We could have some fun. I'm going to close this window. Now, good old Roger McGuinn performing across the street. I don't mean to slight him. He's obviously a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, founding member of the Byrds, super talented guy. He's coming too. I chose to focus on Marty Stewart today. But Roger McGuinn, one of a kind. Where would Rickenbacker guitar sales be without Roger McGuinn? Without Roger McGuinn, we wouldn't have Tom Petty. When Roger McGuinn heard American Girl for the first time, he's like, wait a minute, did I write that song? I mean, that's like, sounds like the Byrds, right? That's all right. Okay. So I'm going to see what you guys are talking about in the chat here. Yes, Dennis is saying, obviously these manufacturers aren't actually looking at your channel. No, Dennis, they must be. They must love me. Don't shatter my illusion. No, you're correct. Yeah. And if I'm getting this stuff, I can only imagine the hundreds of emails that other social media people are getting. We live in strange times. But Sennheiser would be nice. I don't know. Like I've said to you guys before, within arm's distance, I have 2 sets of Sennheiser headphones and 2 Sennheiser microphones, not the one I'm using at the moment. Although I would use a Sennheiser microphone if, well, see, I'm promoting them here, and we haven't even begun a partnership yet. What am I thinking? How are we doing our poll? Have you voted? The poll question of the live stream is, what is your ideal practice time? Hey, 23% of you say, I just want to practice all day. That would be ideal, just all day. But so far, the plurality of you voters say 37% say an hour. An hour is good. You settle in for an hour. That's a good chunk. The 30% of you chose the 30-minute option, and 9% of you chose the 15-minute option. Okay, so I'm getting the vibe here that you guys are pretty serious, and you want to, if you're going to sit down, you really want 30 to 60 minutes, and 15. Even though we all agree you can get something done in 15 minutes, I'm with you. You can, but it looks like the majority of you want more to feel like you're getting something out of your practice time. And of course, hey, who can argue with the 23% of you so far who are saying just all day, man, that's just play the guitar all day. I get it. I wish I could make that happen for myself and for you all. I'm Static Zigzag as asking him, I going to the show? I'm not. I'm going to, for a lot of reasons. I have a bunch of excuses. In this case, this whole week, I need to be out of here by Wednesday night. But I'm working Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I don't know how that's going to work. But that's why tomorrow is going to be a big day here in small town Connecticut. A big day. The piano movers came today. So that was great. I did a lot of painting last night. So that was great. I don't have to paint. It looked pretty good, but it would look better with one more coat, objectively. You ever look at a wall and you're like, well, it looks like someone got it up and running. They primed it. It's like, it's pretty good, but like one more coat and it looks just perfect. Scott says 15 minutes of practice is almost never 15 minutes. Yeah. Static Zigzag you moved your vote from 15 to 30 to 60. Yeah. Can you do that? Can you unvote? Dennis is asking, am I updating the shop? Yes. Short answer is yes. My main thing is lessons, right? One-on-one in-person lessons. But I'm going to get back into selling more retail stuff with a nice little retail display. I'm never going to be competing with Guitar Center or Sweetwater. But people stick their head in all the time, and sometimes they have a very specific need. And other times they just want to say, people literally will say to me, I saw the word music in your sign, so I had to come in. And I get that. I'm the same way. Like anything, I want to walk in and see what it's all about. So my goal is to have, a display with, strings, picks, straps, cables, necessities, stuff that's easy to display and useful. So I see Static, you're saying that your practice, you increase, right? Like 50-minute segments to 30-minute segments to 60-minute segments. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, somebody asked me a guitar question because I'm not going anywhere, but I've covered most of what I want to say. I did want to say to you that I am now officially on board with this light. I had just received it last week, a music stand light. And here we go. Ooh, it's bright. For those of you who are listening, not watching, I'm shining this music stand light in my face for the fun of it. So in case you think a music stand light could be a helpful thing for you, I think it's already there, but I certainly will put a description, a link to that exact music stand light from Sweetwater in the description of this live stream. It wasn't cheap, $36 or so, but it's heavy duty, it's rechargeable, it has both, it has 2 lights on little flexible arms. I decided just to go nuts and pay a little bit extra. Buy once, cry once. And I knock on wood, this will be the last one I need for many, many, many years. it helps me, but also I have plenty of students who could use a little bit extra light. Also, I use such a variety of material in my teaching that you never know what a printout is going to look like, or a photocopy, or whatever. You never know how it's going to ultimately look. And so there's a big range, right, of something that's super easy to read and something that's like really difficult to read. So it never hurts to have some lights handy. So if you want to invest a little bit in yourself, I recommend this the OnStage LED 2224 dual USB-C rechargeable sheet music light from Sweetwater. And again, if there's not already a link to that in the description of this live stream, I'll certainly put one. Okay. Rock Lobster, you missed the Martin guitar. The Martin guitar that you have or that I have. Did I use the Martin guitar in these live streams? I don't know. Chris Grates asks a great question. Should only men perform songs recorded by male artists? What's my opinion? Like, how about the dude who did Fast Car? Luke Combs. I mean, Fast Car is such a great song. I love that song so much, and I'm not alone, I'm aware. That I associate so personally with Tracy Chapman, that to hear a guy sing that song was, I mean, did a perfectly good version of it. Obviously that, it rose to the top of the charts. But I'm not sure if that song is female specific, but in my heart it is, because it's Tracy Chapman, man. So in terms of like singers singing songs that, staying true to their gender. Well, number one, Chris, I think everybody should do whatever makes them happy. I think it can be interesting when someone sings a song where it raises questions. It maybe provoke, like, well, when they say that, how do they mean it? So I get a kick out of that. So number one, any artist, right? By definition, artist, like a capital A artist, it's all about freedom. Do whatever serves your art. Sing whatever you want to do whatever you want to do. So Chris, if that's what you're talking about, like lyrically, if the lyrics refer to one gender, but the person who sings it is another gender, it's pretty interesting. Wingo was talking about the Blues Brothers singing "Stand By Your Man." I love. Have I told you this already? Passionately, I love the song "Son of a Preacher Man." I love everything about that song. Everything. I don't care. That is a fantastic song, specifically Dusty Springfield's version. Aretha Franklin does a perfectly great version of it. Dusty Springfield's version of "Son of a Preacher Man." I love that. I love everything about that recording so much. It is what it is. The heart wants what the heart wants, So Chris, am I answering your question? I hope I am. I do like when there's some sort of switch and that provokes my mind a little bit, and I think, oh, why not? Why not, man? Why not? Scott Rhodes says, what's your basic process for putting a song onto Guitar Pro? Struggling a bit with starting to use my new copy. Scott, it's a great question. I don't think I can pull up Guitar Pro the way I have my computer configured right now. What Scott's talking about is software, a popular software system called Guitar Pro, where you can create documents that look like real, music. And just to pull one up here, bear with me, folks. Scott, when I do this, I usually have a very specific thing in mind. Let's do good old William Tell from last time. Why not? Okay. So Scott's talking about, you know, this kind of document. So I made that document you're seeing there, the William Tell exercise. I made that for our last live stream. I made that with my version of Guitar Pro. I think I have version number 6, and I'm sure there's fancier versions now. So Scott, what I do, I specifically type the numbers in. I use the tab. I do not type in the notes up above. I type in the tab. And we're back, and we're back. We're back. Who knows what happened, but we're back. Okay, so did you see that? We'll put up now. We'll tell. There we go. There. Okay, let's try this again. So what Scott is talking about is that type of document right there. So Scott, you know, usually I have something very specific in mind, like an exercise like this, and I type in numbers. I do the tab first, and the tab. By typing in the tab, it automatically populates the music up above, whether you want to call that piano music, real music, regular music, whatever you want to call those notes up above. So I have a template, Scott, that is ready to go at a moment's notice. I pull up the template, and I've got the template preset for the things that I like. So for instance, I don't want any measure numbers to pop up. I have the word template used as the title, so I can just change that to whatever the title is, but it's already there, you know. I have my name, like by Jonathan Keogh. I have that up there already. So there's a bunch of things. What do they call it? The style section, the style sheet. I have a bunch of things, decisions I've made, and that's the template reflects those decisions. Okay, Scott, so it's an original song. I don't do original songs using Guitar Pro. I mean, that's a great idea. I've never done that before. So I think one thing that might help you, let me see if I can pull it up. Bear with me, you guys. If this works, great. Oh, I wonder if I could share this screen with you guys. This might not work. Yeah, okay. Whoa, this might just work. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing with William Tell here. Okay. But let's see if I can share this instead. Okay. I know I always say this, but if your screen goes black, bear with it. So there you go. There's a template that I have. And for those of you who have, this is like a little inside baseball. It's like behind the scenes of creating guitar documents, you know. You can see on the left side of your screen is all the choices, you know, what key the song is in, what time signature, quarter notes, eighth notes, all that kind of stuff. This is all like ammunition, you know, that you're going to use. And on the far left, there's those icons. Like there's a guitar-shaped icon. There's a guitar pedal icon. There's it looks like a chord name C7. You can add chord names in there. So Scott, one thing that you might get a kick out of, because this might be my only really great advice, is, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor or not, is using slashes to indicate chords. If you're strumming a D chord 4 times, you want to write it once and then use like 3 slash marks. And if you're going to ask me, how do I know what a slash mark? Okay, I'm going to, if I can't do this in 2 seconds, or 2 minutes maybe, then I'll have to get back to you. Okay, what I just created, maybe you guys can just see that. I just created a D major chord in tab. Now what I want to do is change that. Can you guys see this okay? No. Slash. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. Bingo. Okay, I'm going to undo what I just did. Now, can I just do... No, okay. Watch this. Can you guys see this? This is actually my idea of fun. Call me crazy. Okay. You guys see this okay? I just created 4 D chords. All right. I really enjoy this. I don't know if you guys enjoy this as much, but okay. So, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say, yep, that's a D chord right there. Okay. And I'm going to pop that chord name in up above. Look at that. Woohoo. Isn't that fun? Now, see how cluttered that looks with all those extra Ds? Let's make all those just slash marks. Okay, Scott, that was my entire point right there. You might get a kick out of doing that. So what did I do? I did write out the chords, but then what I do, I clicked on the word note up above, that dropped down, and I went way down to where it says slash. I know, is that interesting to you guys? I have no idea. Okay, I'm gonna go back here. Okay, well, there you go. That's a thought. Now, that does not reflect the melody of the tune at all. In fact, that's not going to sound like anything, right? It's just going to sound like, well, what if you guys can hear this? Okay, last thing. You guys can see let's see if you can hear this. I'm going to put a repeat sign. This is either going to be a total fail or it just might work. Let's get rid of that bar. Delete bar. Where are we here? Delete the bar. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, let's see if you guys will hear this. Play. Okay, now I don't think I can hear it. Hey, why did it stop? Oh, because I had it only repeat 2 times. That's all right. Could you guys hear that at all? That'd be kind of wild if you guys could hear that. Repeat. A lot of times. How about 12 times? Okay. So I'm just curious if you guys, that'd be kind of cool if you guys could hear that, because then I could create documents like this and play it for you guys. Like, now I know it doesn't sound it sounds like a computer generated sound. Anybody hearing that? I'll stop it because for all I know, it sounds terrible. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, there you go. I'm going to close that. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, I'm going to close that down. Do I save, discard? Okay. Yeah, Scott says you don't hear it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm sure there's someone with more computer savvy than me. They would tell you why you're not hearing that. That's okay. So anyways, Scott, I don't know if that helps. I'll say one last thing. It all depends on what you want the final product to look like. Do you want to reflect what you're singing? Do you want to simply be the rhythm guitar part? Both? Do you want the lyrics to be included? It depends, on what you want the final thing to be. But if you have any specific questions, feel free to email me, because I've spent so many hours with that software that I have discovered a lot of things that I found super helpful. So yeah. Okay, you guys. I'm just making sure that I've covered everything that I feel like was on the agenda. Yeah. Scott says that'll get you started. Okay. In general, I think what they created is pretty intuitive. I think Guitar Pro is pretty intuitive. I think I've only used one other thing before Guitar Pro, but maybe not. Maybe that's the only thing I use. I'm going to wet my whistle, folks. I see you talking about the song "The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down." Chris is saying, who does the better version, Joan Baez or the band? I mean, before I answer your question, so I get what you're talking about. The song is from a male point of view. The narrator of the song is a guy, Virgil Caine, right? So, I mean, I love the band so much. Joan Baez is a perfectly good version of it, and I'm glad she did it. But yeah, I guess I like the band's version better. But that doesn't mean that she didn't do a great version. If I remember correctly, her version was hugely popular. I don't know if it was more popular than the band's version in terms of sales or radio play or whatever, but I believe it was a huge hit for her. I think, I'm not sure. Robbie Robertson has a second volume of his autobiography coming out posthumously called Insomnia, which I think gets more into after his tenure with the band, getting into movie soundtracks, I think. There's a picture of him and Martin Scorsese on the cover. There you go. All right, you guys, I'm going to scroll up to see if there are any questions I missed. But if I didn't miss any, I think we could call it a night. Why not, man? Why not? Yeah. Okay, you guys good? If you got any questions, just make a note for next time. We'll have some fun. Okay, so before I forget, next week, just to remind you, my intention is to have a great live stream next week, and we probably will. I don't know where I'm going to be sitting. It won't be in this room. It could be some that basically looks like this, or little. You might not even recognize or see that it's any different. But knock on wood, it'll go smoothly, and it'll be like no change at all. The reason I bring it to your attention is I'm going to be dealing with a new internet provider, and I don't know if they're going to have my new space wired in time for the next week. And if they don't, I should know that well in advance, and then I can plan accordingly and maybe just do it from my house. Why not? Why not? So it'll be fun to find out. All right, you guys. So I'm going to say good night. Let me say a few good nights to those of you who have been here for just about 2 hours. Holy cow. Oh, yeah, Scott says you should give us a tour of the new space. I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. You know what? For those of you, you deserve a little something. I'll show you what it looks like at the moment. Don't go anywhere. This is for those of you who have stuck around this long. Okay, here's what it looks like at the moment. Boom, I'm going to send that there. Okay. Okay. This will only take a second. Okay, so I'll pull it up on the screen, and you guys can, very few people on planet Earth have seen this picture that you're about to see. This is what the new music shop looks like at the moment. Come on. Waiting for it to pop up here. There we go. Okay. Boom. Okay. Let's pull it up here. It's not going to look like this for very long, because I'm going to fill it up with stuff. Let's make this nice and big. Well, that's big. Holy cow. Okay, you ready, Freddie? Okay, for those of you who've been around for the last 2 hours, let's see. There it is. Okay, can you see that? There you go. Oh, look at that great painting job. Yeah, I got to take that blue painter's tape off from that HVAC vent up there. Piano's in place. Brand new carpet, looking pretty slick. Yeah, there you go. That's gonna be my new home, maybe for the next 19 years. There you go. That's what it looks like at the moment. Dennis, yes, the new space is about a mile away from my old space. So, and no back roads or woods or mountains. I mean, a mile, on good old, easy to find things from one commercial area to another commercial area. So I'm not, it'll be equally easy to find. So yeah, there you go. That's going to be my new home, and that's where I'll be painting tomorrow, but not those walls, because those walls look fantastic, right? The other walls look pretty darn good to go. But they could use just a little more. Static Zigzag says, you need an oil painting of a guitar painted by me. Hey, never say never. At the moment, I'm trying to enjoy pure, clean white walls because I'm capable of really cluttering stuff up over time, which is awesome. But it's also awesome to take a deep breath and have white walls for a little while and just relax. All right, you guys, thanks for letting me share that with you. Good times, man. Good times in the small town. Friends, I will say a few good nights and look forward to doing this all again next week. Good night to Static Zigzag, Scott, Dennis, Randy, Rock Lobster, Barry. Hey, TEH Captain Hare. I didn't see you join the chat. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Charlie Bigo says, do it from Starbucks. Hey, you know what? Never say never, man. Never say never. This live stream will continue by any means necessary. DAC Poet, thank you for being here. Who else did I see? Val, thank you for being here. Our moderators, thank you to Music Fan and Beginner Guitar Lessons. Thank you for being moderators. Hi to my mom. Mom, if you're watching, hope you're doing well, Mom. Who did I say? Did I say good night to Chris, A to Z, me? If I missed anybody's name, I'm still sending you a good night. Thank you for the super chat donations. Head over to song-bike.com. Pick yourself up a little something like the Strum Pattern Bible or some merch or something. That's a great way you can support the show. Don't forget to use the Sweetwater link in the description of this live stream. That's a way you can get yourself something from Sweetwater, and they send a little bit of their stuff, their proceeds to me. All right, you guys, on that note, I will see you next Saturday. It'll be a new month. Good times. Good times. All right. Take care, everybody. Good night.